Am I the asshole for not inviting my dad's wife to the wedding? I, 24F, got engaged last May to my fiancée, 24M. I am very excited about it, but when it came down to planning, I knew that my parents would be a tough situation. My parents separated when I was 16 and didn't get officially divorced until 2020. My dad remarried in 2021. I will refer to his wife as Sharon. During the initial separation, my sisters and I stayed with our mom. She was going through such a hard time. My dad, in the beginning, attempted to make an effort with my sisters and me, but it was very obvious that he was eager to start his new family. He eventually became a distant father, only really talking to us around holidays, taking Sharon and her kids on trips, and bonding with them. I missed my dad, but he seemed to have already moved on from us, and he was never a good person to communicate with. I still attempted to have some sort of relationship, even if it was at arm's length. I invited him to my high school and college graduation, which he attended both without Sharon. When Sharon and my dad got engaged, none of us were happy about it, but it was what he wanted. We went to the wedding. All three of us were very emotional about it, which family on my dad's side could tell, and tried to comfort us. I have never been mean to Sharon. I have always just sort of tolerated her. We never formed any kind of bond, and I only ever saw her if I was visiting my dad, which already was once in a while. The same applies for my sisters. So, now being engaged, I've taken everything in. I decided I wanted my dad at my wedding, but just as my dad. He wouldn't get a +1 or anything of the sort. To make things fair, I set the same rules for my mom. This past weekend, I went to talk to him and Sharon. My fiancé was with me when I told them. I said that I meant no disrespect, but I had to also think of my mom and that this would be easier. I also made it a point to tell him that my mom isn't allowed to bring anyone either. If Sharon wanted to celebrate our wedding, we could always also do dinner another time. I thought letting them know in advance, since the wedding isn't until fall 2024, he would, hopefully, take it well and still want to show up. I was emotional, and afterward, he did hug me and told me that he would let me know their decision. I left feeling better, but things changed. On our way home, he called me. He asked if this was my decision, which I said yes to. Then he told me that we could do dinner another time, and essentially his answer was no. I was upset, so we just said our goodbyes, and that was that. Edit. Some asked why I don't want Sharon there, and I commented my explanation. Another suggested I added here. She was part of the reason my father left. In no way do I consider my mother the better parent in everything, but she wanted to work and try. Sharon was my father's co-worker. When he left, he immediately moved in with her. And if I am honest, my sisters and I have never seen her as a stepmother, but more as our dad's girlfriend, wife. There's just no relationship there. I will admit, I never fully tried, but I was young when I was navigating everything, and I had no idea how to handle it. There was also no effort on her end. That has led to where I am today in my relationship with her and my father. I can understand your father wanting his wife to be there, being a part of the family, yada yada. But the reality is that this is your wedding. Meaning you get to invite whoever you want and include whoever you want. It's clear that your father's absence in your life has impacted how you view his wife, and if he doesn't understand that, that's his problem. Regardless, I am so sorry that you had to deal with all of this. It is such a tough situation to go through, and I hope you're holding up okay through it all. Absolutely not the asshole. Have a wonderful wedding and congratulations to you and your partner. Less than 3. Not the asshole. Your wedding, you can invite whomever you want. I don't really understand why you want him there considering his dubious parenting skills, but you do you. You made your boundaries perfectly clear, and he seems to have accepted them. The YTA comments here are truly bizarre. Not the asshole. You have the right to invite whoever you like to your wedding. He also has the right to decline on coming. To be honest, I wouldn't bother putting any more of your energy or time into maintaining a relationship with someone who clearly doesn't bother putting any effort into you. Congratulations on your wedding. Not the asshole. It's perfectly reasonable that Op doesn't want the woman her father abandoned her for at her wedding. If Sharon was a good person, she would have insisted that her partner's children be included in the family trips and activities. If OP's dad was a good person, he would have insisted that his children be included in family events and family life. Why on earth is it acceptable for two adults to exclude children from their father's life and then get angry that his wife, that participated in excluding those children, isn't invited to one of their children's weddings? Not the asshole, and it sounds like you are better off without him. Am I the asshole for being bothered by my pregnant wife's behavior? My wife, 29F, is 3 months pregnant and I, 35M, have been married 4 years and dating 2 years prior. She hasn't been taking the pregnancy well, has nausea in the evening, and she is crying and complaining that I am not doing enough. We both work in tough corporate jobs and I also run a small business on the side, so generally very busy people. I am very happy to help and do chores like washing up, vacuuming, cleaning, groceries without her asking. However, she has a way of requesting other things that really bothers me. She directly won't ask for something, she will just make a statement like, "The toilet smells" or "The window is open," and expects me to follow through. If I don't catch on, she will remember and complain to me that I am substandard, or not good enough, for not doing what she wants. She says I should know what she wants. Yesterday I politely said she can learn a better way to ask for things, as if she uses simple manners like please or thank you it will make me want to help even more. I also said that if she cannot, I will be less likely to want to help or being proactive with help. I said it doesn't cost much to say these things and it would benefit both of us. I tried to have a mature conversation with her to listen and understand her position more. She bursted into tears saying she's suffering, she won't change her behavior and that's her real self. She says that because she is pregnant she wishes I should just be a robot and do everything she says no matter how she says it because her job is to bear the child. She is sweet and polite to all her friends, family and work colleagues, literally all the time even during pregnancy and periods, but as her husband I get her real self, which is negative, demanding, distant, and always impolite. I asked her why she cannot treat me like how she treats everyone else, to which she replies in her culture husbands normally get treated this way, she is East Asian. She even said she should have married someone from East Asia and regrets marrying me because of my Western upbringing because I can't take her negativity. I understand she may have pregnancy hormones. If this was the case I would accept and bear with this as temporary, but she has been like this before pregnancy. This negative version of her happens for 10 days before her period. I avoid interactions with her during this duration, as she's unpleasant to be around and I'd wait for the time when she becomes nice again. However, now she is now like this 24/7 and is unavoidable. I have asked so many times in the past she should try learning to be more empathetic and nicer when she communicates. However, she refuses and makes no effort at self-improvement or even researching or Googling the topic. She is from an East Asian background and lived in a number of East Asian countries but is now settled with me in London, UK, where I was born and bred. Am I the asshole for being bothered by her behavior while she is pregnant? Not the asshole being pregnant, 3 months and she is behaving like this already, is not a free pass to be an asshole and emotionally abusive to those around you. She doesn't act that way with her friends and colleagues because she is not comfortable enough and has to keep a facade. That's not her real self, this is. She told you, believe her. After pregnancy it will be postpartum and then God knows what. Good luck. It will make me want to help even more. I will be less likely to want to help or being proactive with help. Info. Why is it helping if it's your house too? You live there, right? You're not helping her, you're doing what needs to be done in your house. You said you both have jobs, so it's not like chores are just her thing. You're not helping her at all, you're just doing what you need to do in your house. You don't have the option to help less, it's literally your job as occupant of the residence to do chores. Info. Why are you framing you washing the toilet as helping her? Why is it not a chore you are equally responsible for as an adult who has eyes and can see when something is dirty? Info. Why did you get this woman pregnant? You're well and truly fucked now. You do not help in your own home. You are an equal partner. Act like it. She's maybe asking in a way that is what was modeled to her growing up. And it's different from how it was for you. I married someone from a different country, so we do sometimes struggle with how to communicate these things. We found the book Fair Play helpful. Might be good for both of you to learn how to talk about these things. Am I the asshole for wanting my husband's location? My 30F husband, 31M, and I have been on and off since high school. We have never shared our location with each other until fairly recently. About 2 years ago my husband and I get married, have a baby, she tragically and suddenly passes away, and my pre-existing anxiety skyrockets. I tell him I want his location just to feel more secure, it will help me if I know where he is. He agreed and actually liked it. He has severe OCD and ADHD and he will get stuck places for hours. We're talking 2 hours at Home Depot for no reason. He was like, "This is great because then you won't keep calling asking where I am." I agreed he's shit with answering his phone and I hate calling. But when you're married and live together it kinda becomes necessary to know when the other person will be home, literally just for logistics. A couple of months after this, we separated for reasons truly unrelated to any of this. After separating, we obviously stopped sharing location with each other. Recently, location sharing with your loved ones has become extremely normalized. I have my location shared with my mom, sister, and best friends. I love it because my mom can be a bit anxious and dramatic, so if I'm traveling and forget to text that I arrived, she can just see where I am. It seems like an extremely small price to pay for her peace of mind. I never need to lie about where I am, so it doesn't bother me that people close to me can track me. It makes me feel safer. So to our current problem, my husband and I recently got back together. A lot was revealed, one thing being that he was sleeping with a lot of girls while we were separated. I told him I'll forget about what happened when we weren't together, I just want to move on and never speak about it again. A couple weeks ago, he got a new job that requires long hours and being at different locations every day. I asked him if he could share his location with me as it would be helpful to know where he is, when he's coming home at night. He's not the best with picking up his phone, and often he is working with his hands, so I get it. But knowing if he's close by without having to call, could pick something up for me, wants to get dinner, etc. would make my life easier and make me feel more secure. He refuses. He doesn't care that we've already done this and it was the opposite of a problem. He hates the idea of being tracked. He thinks it's because I don't trust him, even though I've explained why this makes sense. He thinks it's unhealthy and I need to actually deal with my anxiety instead of placating it. I even shared my location with him because I don't and shouldn't care if he knows where I am. It sketches me out that he is adamantly against me knowing where he is, and it sketches him out that I want to know where he is. There is no talking to him about this, and I'm just so frustrated. I know a lot of people have their reasons for not wanting to share location, but I just don't get it. So, am I the asshole? You are the asshole. You're responsible for taking action to deal with your anxiety, he is not. Lol. You know the reason you want the location is to make sure he isn't with other girls. Just end it for good already, this relationship is over. You are the asshole. Sharing your location with all your loved ones isn't normalized. I don't have to to anyone either. I can just tell them none of their business. I don't share my location with anyone. I think you may need to ask around to determine how many people actually do this. I think it's ridiculous. You are the asshole. Just because he said yes once doesn't mean he has to again. Just because it's common, doesn't mean he has to. Just because he said yes, doesn't mean he can't retract it. That's autonomy. Get over yourself and your trust issues. Don't you have better things to do all day? You are the asshole. I've been happily married 28 years. I have anxiety disorder and I have never once demanded my husband or daughter share their location with me. They have their own lives and the right to do things I don't know about. Your anxiety isn't their problem, it's something you need to deal with. I would be more anxious if I were always tracking my family. If you don't trust your husband, then your marriage won't work, whether you are tracking him or not. And it's not any way to live, for you or him. Am I the asshole for showing up to my infertile friend's house while pregnant? Me and my friend Sarah, fake name, have been friends since elementary school. I had a tough childhood, so I became friends with her and got close with her family. Sarah married Mark, fake name, and at first I was a bit iffy because they were polar opposites, but honestly they were in a way, I thought, the other's better half. I met my now husband, D, in high school, but we reconnected and he 100% changed my life around for the better. When I first introduced Sarah to D, she seemed to like him along with her husband. But then shit hit the fan. Sarah and Mark have dealt with fertility issues for a while. I felt really bad for her and tried to be her shoulder to cry on and give support. But then I got pregnant with my twins. Me and Dee didn't really want a baby shower or gender reveal, so we just told friends and family when they visited or we visited them. When I told Sarah, she looked absolutely heartbroken. Mark suggested that we left and we did so. From that on, me and Sarah were only really texting each other, not visiting or really talking about my pregnancy. But I decided to visit Sarah since she wasn't feeling too good and Mark was busy. It was hot out, so I was wearing a crop top, something I wear pretty often, and hell, I'm fucking pregnant with twins, that shit's gonna show. When I arrived everything seemed okay, but then Sarah began to go on a speech about how she felt about D, claiming he was brainwashing me into being the perfect housewife and how he's gonna leave me when I have the twins, which isn't like D at all. And I of course got upset because I don't want you talking about my husband like that. So I tried to calmly defend him and she blew up, screaming at me about how I abandoned our friendship over him. I ended up crying and leaving, trying to drive myself home, which I know I shouldn't have tried to do, and calling D, who tried to console me all the way home, offering to pick me up if I pulled over. Mark even reached out. I thought that he'd be the middle ground as he often was during our fight, but he texted to scold me about how unfair I was being to Sarah. Honestly, this is all hurting me. Sarah was there when my parents weren't there to console me, or they hurt me. I did so much with her. Should I have just not visited while pregnant? D keeps trying to reassure me, but I feel more angry than anything. I hate how she talked about the man who has made my life nothing but joy. Hate it. But shit, I don't know. I genuinely don't know what to do. Extra info. Sarah texted me about not feeling well and I offered to swing by and bring her some canned soup I had. She agreed, and when I got there she seemed more quiet but never outright aggressive like she was later. More of like someone who is trying to plan what they're gonna say, or like observing. Sarah is very bubbly and loud like I am, so having her so calm only made me think that she was actually sick, not that she was still upset. This post again? Or am I supposed to believe another woman in a crop top, pregnant with twins, stopped by her infertile friend's house and got into a fight about it? Not the asshole. Infertility is awful. It can make a person bitter, depressed, and, in Sarah's situation, envious. She is looking for a reason to be upset with you because she knows her true feelings are that of jealousy, and by blaming you for abandoning the friendship, she is absolving herself of responsibility. Because you two are close and have a significant history, I hope she is able to get the help she needs. It would suck to lose her over this, but if she can't acknowledge that her feelings are leading to sabotage, you're better off without her. Congrats on the twins. Not the asshole. You can't process Sarah's emotions around infertility for her. It is not your responsibility to cease existing just because you being pregnant bring up bad feelings for her. Sarah is an adult who can choose not to scream at you. Her and Mark are both in the wrong. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, and she is not your friend anymore. Time to call it quits and move on. She's jealous of your pregnancy and willing to attack you over it. She's unlikely to apologize or come to terms with you having children. Cut your losses.